What's going on, guys? This is Christian Anto with MBS Fitness and Elite FTS. Today, all I want to do is go over a really easy warm-up movement that's going to help us with a proper hip hinge. All the information that I'm going to teach you right now has been taught to me from other coaches and other athletes on Team Elite FTS. I'm just sharing the knowledge with you because it hasn't been passed around in a while, and I got a lot of feedback on my last Instagram post video concerning how to properly stack and get rid of that pelvic tilt going into a squat, which most people think is an actual hip hinge when it's not. All right, so to do this warm-up, you're gonna need some props. I suggest one of 3 props that should be able to be found at any type of gym, and if you have a home gym, it should be really easy to make. First prop available that is the most readily available is a PVC pipe. Now, not a huge fan of a PVC pipe because it flexes a little bit, which allows you to cheat. However, if it's the only thing you got, I recommend it because it's going to do the basics of what we need to have done. Second, a wooden dowel. This isn't going to bend on you. However, if you have terrible shoulder mobility, like myself, grabbing this in the proper position is going to potentially cause you to cheat or have a slight adaptation when trying to get into the proper hip hinge form. The one that works best for me and what I found works really well for my clients is going to be the shoulder rock. Okay? So I'm going to use the shoulder rock to show you how it works best for me. It's the most efficient. Okay? So first off, we have to learn how to stack. Just like my video on Instagram that we made, we do not want a pelvic tilt when you unrack the bar or go into your squat. You need this hip stacked directly under your rib cage. So number one thing is, this is not a hip hinge. This is lumbar extension. If you go into lumbar extension under a squat, you're doing it wrong. This goes for anybody, raw or geared. We do not want this to hinge first. We need a hip hinge, not a pelvic hinge. Okay? This is lumbar extension. This is a hinge. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the shoulder rock behind our head. We are going to get our upper back, our mid back, and our low back, and our butt to touch the shoulder rock at all times. That means we have to correct that pelvic tilt, get us stacked from our hip to our rib cage, to our shoulder blade at all times. When you hip hinge, your body needs to be in contact with all of those points all at the same time. So, I know every one of you knows someone that sticks their butt out. This is not a hip hinge because all those points are not touching. When you hip hinge, you are stacked and you lean. Okay? There is a forward lean in a hip hinge. Your butt gets pushed back, your chest comes slightly forward. I'm not telling you to get your chest parallel to the ground, okay? I don't want you to go into a good morning when you squat. However, a proper hip hinge is going to have forward movement just a little bit to get your hips back and out of the way. We do not want you to go into a back extension. So now that we know how to hip hinge while using our implements, let's talk about sets and reps. What I typically like to do with my clients is get them used to the hinge by itself. I'll have them do anywhere from 3 to 5 reps of just the hinge. This is going to allow them to feel their spinal erectors working because as we hinge properly and keep in that stacked position, your spinal erectors are going to feel like they're flexed. It's also going to allow them to feel their glutes and hamstrings start activating a lot more because they're going to get stretched more. So 3 to 5 reps of just the hinge by itself, and then depending on how many you do with that, you're going to do anywhere from 3 to 5 reps with a hinge and a squat. I roughly keep it to around 6 to 8 reps total, and that's going to count as one set. Do anywhere from 3 to 5 sets depending on if you get it or if you're struggling with it. Again, this is just a warm-up prior to actually getting into a movement that requires a hip hinge, a main movement or a compound movement requiring a hip hinge. So why does this matter? It matters because on a compound movement like this, we want to move as efficiently as possible, and when we move efficiently, we can move more weight in the safest way possible. The second that you go into extension with your spine, you are now moving inefficiently, and you're moving through your structure. We need to move through our muscle. So when we keep that hip stacked under our rib cage, which is stacked under our shoulder, and properly hip hinge all of those together, now we are stable, we are safe, and we're going to be the most efficient in moving through this compound movement. Okay? Bottom line is, the second that you go into extension like that, we are now inefficient and putting ourselves at greater risk for injury, which is the last thing. That's not the reason that we're coming in here to do these workouts and these movements. For more information, check out mbsfitness.net and elitefts.com.